Hey there, this is a review for our Old School Essentials Ravenloft Touch of Death adventure. This was session number 4. We picked up where we left off. We were in the secret room under the stairs in the temple that we had found right at the end of the previous sessions. Digging around in there, we found a bunch of potion bottles, which we collected, and some scrolls. There was some mostly divine, actually arcane and divine ones. We were able to decide, to figure out what they did. There was 2 that cured disease. There was a legend lore, a hold undead, flame arrow, nice one, and stone skin. We also found Isu's journals, and we dug through those, and they showed her converting from worship of the god Osiris to Set, and her kind of transformation into that faith. Um, we also learned that she woke up Senmet, the priest of Anktopot, and now that Senmet, I guess he's a mummy. I'm not sure. We're not sure actually. I think he is. Now serves Set through Isu. We then discovered when we went back upstairs that the body of Isu was gone. Not good. Bloody footprints led out of the temple. We decided, after some debate, to rest in the temple because it's secure and we're not very welcome in the village, so we decided to do that. In the morning, we wake up and my character, Sir Roland, and Bruno, we've had a little bit of a transformation. Our ears are elongated and we have gray hair growing out of them. And we learn through Hassan that we've probably been cursed for taking some of the treasure in the other room there, some of the gold and stuff like that, which we did take. Melora didn't take any of that, so she was unaffected. So we put it back. Doesn't change anything, but we'll see what happens. Hassan informs us that the villagers think that we are the ones who brought the undead to the town, and they are very angry. So we decided we got to get out of town. Obviously, we got to travel at certain times because of the heat and stuff. So we decided to seek out the aid of the Vistani Marius. He's the last remaining of Dulsome's family. And after some persuading, he does decide to join us. He's very reluctant at first. Bruno is trying to convince him, and his method of convincing was to kind of go after him a little bit, like, as far as like verbally. And he didn't take to that very well at first, but then eventually he begrudgingly decided to help us. We go and retrieve, once we just secured Marius's help, we go to the stable to get our mounts. My horse is there, and Melora and Bruno's camels are there. We're getting those prepared when the villagers start to wake, and the stable boy comes in, and he's just as angry with us as everybody else. We're pretty much done. I ride up to him and give him 5 silver and say thank you, for your trouble. And we go to leave. That kind of seemed to mollify him a little bit. He wasn't quite as angry, but he did tell us that the village is mad, and we could hear it. So we decided to leave, and we ride out of town. We probably go about a mile out of town, and the Valley of the Pharaoh's 3 miles away. But we need to rest because it's daytime and the heat's too much. We can't travel. It's already taking a toll on our mounts, so we rest. So while we're resting, we're attacked by the zombies again, and they come up through the sand and they come at us from all angles. And in the distance, we can see Dulsome, but she's in mummy form, so that's not good. we have to make above board mechanically. We have to make our fear checks. We all fail them, which is great, and we all get the result of a 5 for the thing. So we're all basically stunned for 3 rounds, which isn't great. So the zombie arms coming up out of the sand can really have no trouble grabbing a hold of us and holding us down. I don't know if it was Marius or Hassan. I think it was Hassan. He passed his, so he's able to actually cut my character free from the grasping hands. I can't do anything, but I'm not being pulled down. Meanwhile, Brunor and Melora, they're being pulled under the sand, and they eventually get pulled all the way down to their necks. It's looking pretty grim at this point, but another mummy arrives on the scene kind of behind us, and this one we don't know who it is or what it is, but it does appear that it was once female, and this led us to believe that this was Anktopot's wife, because in the lore that we learned, when he accidentally killed her, she came back as a mummy, and she came to him, and he was so horrified that he ordered her to go away and never come back, and she followed his orders because she's undead and under his control. So he did that. So we think that that's her. We're not 100% sure of that, but regardless of that, when she or it comes on the scene, Dulcome, the mummy Dulcome, and her zombies flee, which saves us, because another round, well, at least saves, it would have saved it saved all of us, because in another round, Melora and Bruno would have been under the sand and suffering from suffocation, and I would have been left there with Hassan trying to fight off any zombies if they had remained, which would have been tough. And Marius as a combatant is completely useless. Like, he just keeps breaking down, and I mean, he's still grieving from the loss of his entire family, rightfully so. So as a combatant, we can't rely on him at all. He's useless. So that's where we left that. What we did learn, kind of had to retcon it a little bit, but we did learn that one of the zombies that attacked us was the boy Abu, and we had found his sandal earlier when the wake had been attacked, and Sir Roland, my character, kept it. And after everybody's pulled from the sands and we've recovered from our conditions, I wander off away from the group a little bit in the sand, and I dig a hole in the sand, and I bury Abu's sandal, slipper, and just kneel down in front of it, like it's a kind of like a makeshift grave, and just say a prayer to, my God, for Abu. My character was, I mean, you'd only known him for a little bit, but he had a little bit of an attachment to Abu, so that was he was holding out hope, as was I as a player, that we were going to be able to rescue Abu, but that was not in the cards. So we put Abu to rest, hopefully for forever. And actually, Hassan, while I was doing that, because he knew Abu, he comes over and also joins me. And once that's done, we rest the rest of the day, and then we enter the Valley of the Pharaoh. This time, going through where we'd entered before, there's none of the two-headed dogs, which is nice. We eventually come to a low, flat building, and it's a shrine to Anktopot. There's statues outside the shrine, and I'm going to butcher this name, but it's Nefar. Nefar is Anktopot's wife, and the statue of her, it's like been defaced. I'm not sure why, but it has. We go in, and one of the first things we come to, and this place is massive. This is huge structure. Like we're in the game. Matt has a I guess it's a map of it, but it's more like a drawing of the. It's really kind of cool, and we're only seeing pieces of it because he's got it covered up with just what we explore, and it is massive though, like right out of like all the Egyptian legends that you've ever seen. So it's huge. But we end up getting into a fight. These statues come alive, and these bursting out of them. I remember that right. There was these Anubis statues, and they come alive, and they're like these undead creatures that we're fighting. And Hassan in this battle fails his fear or horror check, and he runs and drops his torch and runs. The rest of us stay and fight, and it was a really tough battle. It was a tough battle in one regard because our dice rolls for all of us were horrible. Like we after the battle, I know we talked about it briefly, is we had like at least 5 rounds of combat, and then within those 5 rounds, I know my character, I only made 1 hit. Like the dice just were not on our side at all. So, but we, Bruner and Sir Roland took a lot of damage, and we're eventually victorious. One of the things was these Anubis, these undead creatures were fighting us. They had these Kopesh swords, and they were all covered with like rust. And as we're fighting, the rust is coming off them, and we're seeing that these are like really nice swords and kind of gleaming bronze swords. And Matt used a good description of in the first Conan movie when he gets chased by the wolves and he finds that little crypt and there's that sword in there and he's just banging the rust off it. Well, that was what's happening when the swords would strike our shields or our armor or something. So at the end of the fight, we collect those. My character takes one, and I think Bruno takes one. So he starts using it. So I have this picture of this, this medieval knight, very European. He's a knight of the crusade, but now he has like this Kopesh sword, which he steps aside and takes a few, a little bit of a few practice swings with it. It's incredibly well made and balanced, but it does handle differently than his trusty longsword. So he tries to get a few swings in to get kind of the feel of it, and we keep pushing on. We actually found some more potions in this area that we were in, and some more scrolls, more cure disease, which leads me to believe that's something we're going to have to deal with. Thankfully, my character is a paladin. I'm immune to disease, but we seem to be finding a lot of cure disease scrolls, so that could be a clue. Right, we finish the session. We enter this massive room, like the biggest room we've been in. There's this huge statue of Anktopot there, and it's just enormous. And looking at the map that Matt was using, was pretty impressive. It was pretty cool. We enter another smaller crypt, and we learn this is a crypt of minor officials. And while we're in there, Melora finds a secret door. So we're like, well, it's secret for a reason. Let's check it out. And it leads, beyond the door is a narrow set of stairs that lead upward. And as we are traveling up those stairs, we actually were able to find trying to be cautious, we did find a pit trap. And I think my character almost set it off, but I was able to avoid falling into it because it's a pit, and in the bottom of the pit is filled with, excuse me, scarab beetles. So we avoid that. I'm on the other side of the pit from the rest of the party, and I step on a stair, and it depresses a little bit, and the pit trap closes. So it's got like a switch that you can operate it with. So there's a door, I believe, at the top of these stairs, but this is where we ended the session. It was getting towards that time, so we ended there. We'll hopefully be picking it up again this coming Thursday, and we're kind of leaning towards this. Matt's telling us that this will probably be the last session for this adventure. We should be able to most likely finish it up on Thursday, so that'll be great. It's been a ton of fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it concludes. Hopefully all of our characters survive. So I appreciate you all watching the comments. Ravenloft seems to be pretty popular. I know I like the setting. At least the older stuff like we're playing is really fun, and I'm looking forward to doing it again, hopefully. But I appreciate everybody watching in the comments, and keep them coming. And I'll catch you all at the next one. Thanks.